Hello, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I am back, alive and well. A birthday weekend for me, so I wrapped up my Sunday rather late yesterday evening and did not feel like it was worthwhile to do the live stream at such a late hour in the evening. I was a bit tired this morning. Didn't get up at 4. Got up at 5 instead. So just kind of took it easy. I was a bit frustrated this morning with there was I think there was 4 runners this morning, gappers, that were over 100% this morning. And typically when you get that many, then most of the gappers fade because that maximum dollar block spread across that many small caps just can't sustain. So it was kind of a shift in momentum that I was not looking to long any of those catalysts much this morning. So I definitely came in short bias once seeing that. And then just with that much moving, I narrowed it down to my top 2 or 3 names. One of them being Neg, which was this multi-day runner, broke out through 17, went straight up to 56, and then was gapping down right at red to green for the first time. So I had borrowed some shares in pre-market, and once market opened, it was indeed opening red. Spread was a bit wonky in pre-market, and sometimes with these illiquid names, they can be gapping down, gapping down, gapping down, and then market opens and it's like already green, and it almost like voids the gap down because like the bid is immediately higher. So right when market opened, we sold off, and I'm hitting 44, 43, just trying to fill whatever I can. I'm hitting hotkeys, and I started getting like errors where it's like, you didn't enter the ticker symbol. Do you mean NEGG? Did you want X shares? Did you want Y shares? Like I was getting error code after error code because I'm just hitting trying to fill, and I ended up missing it. Really nice pullback. Would have been a pretty big trade. Like you didn't have to take a ton of size if you're shorting anywhere in the 40s, risking high a day or red to green. 44-ish, risking 48, $4 a share, and you can take 12. That's a nice 3-4 to 1 trade. So is what it is. I missed that one, and then I was slipping over to ABVE. And this was the same thing. So on Friday, I took 2 losses on this. If you recall the watch list from Thursday, I said I would take 1, maybe 2 trades on it. So I stuck to that plan. And so here right off the open, we get a push, hard crack, lower high, fails versus VWAP. We're under some pre-market resistance, so I start leaning into here. I add through low a day, full risk on high a day. It comes back, stops me out. Okay, I'm wrong. Higher this goes, the better the opportunity. And then right around the time I'm trying to get off desk and leave, this thing's trending, and I see this. I'm like, oh my god. So I short this lower high here in the 340s, risking versus high a day. And then it starts to chop higher. No reason to cover. This is perfectly normal price action. We get higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and then this little rounding action. So I add right here, move risk to those 350s. I get swiped right before close just for it to fade a hell of a lot lower in after hours, and then get hit with a 20% gap down this morning. So I was, needless to say, I was very frustrated. And then at the open, plan was to wait for pops versus red to green. Market opens, and this thing never upticks. So not only did I take 2 full-size losses on it on Friday, coming into today, waiting for a setup, trying not to chase weakness. That clearly wasn't working on Friday, and that would have been the 20% gap down, you're just supposed to chase it apparently with whatever size you want. So what I did do was I drew some lines. It started to panic over here. I started to look left because this is now a multi-day runner giving a morning panic. So I draw a line at day one highs. I draw a line at day one's consolidation. And I'm looking for it anywhere between 160 and 210. And that's pretty much exactly what we got. In addition to candles starting to speed up, volume starting to go parabolic, and we get a flush between that 160 and 210 range. So I bought super small right here, maybe like a 1/10, 1/5, 1/10, something like that. With wide risk, was going to let it continue to make new lows if it wanted to. We immediately swipe up, so I add, starts to stuff here off of that 210. There's nothing to say this is the low a day. So I already did get a 190 to 210 move. That's a 20-cent move on a $2 stock. There's a 10% bounce already. So I locked it all in. It pulls back but can't go lower. So I put that full position back on, and we get another 20% move, another 10%. So I locked that one in. Did go a little bit higher. But was just looking for that elastic move when it sells off too much too fast, just looking for that quick snapback, and that's it. So there's still probably some plays in this. It has a pretty good history of fades. Ideally, I'd like this to pull back towards 160s tomorrow with like steady lows, and then I can get a rebound move back up into the mid to high twos. So ideally puts in another red day, but we will see. And then Wolf I tried Wolf one more time today. That was my other trade. And I just, after missing neg and ABVE to the short, my headspace was just all over the place. I was so frustrated with seeing so much stuff moving pre-market, a bunch of stuff fading, and I'm just like chasing stuff left and right. I narrowed it down to 2 so that I could focus on those trades, and then to miss them, now I'm like scatterbrained looking for what else I can trade and make the money I felt like I deserved. So then I started trying to buy Wolf because, this thing's green again. So I bought it right here on a pullback. Right here. We got this little flag and a break through it. So I bought this with low a day risk. We got speed up move into looking left pre-market resistance. So I locked some in. And then plan was to trail it off of a break-even stop, and it just pulled back, and I'm like, looks like it pulled back too much, I'm just going to cut it. So I took it off for no reason, ended up going a little bit higher. Wouldn't have sold it up there anyways, but it's just a stupid sell. So I was frustrated, to say the least. Workhorse, how many times was I trying to short this thing last week? We got this parabolic, nice pullback. I'm trying to short it here, didn't pull back, and then it breaks out straight up. And then now you get that, again, gaps down from 450 to 4, so this is down 10%. And then it fades another 40%, right back down to that 250 line. So hopefully I can get that 250 breakdown trade tomorrow. Let's see who's in chat here. Jeff, as usual. Luke, what's going on? Chris, any good first green days on watch? ABVE or proc. I will go over a watch list, talk about first green days. First green days haven't been working that great. I haven't taken too many of them because they haven't set up super perfect, and I haven't seen a ton of them work super well, so I'm a bit hesitant on those. I briefly touched on ABVE there. Technically it is down 35%, so it has run enough and it has pulled back enough. So like it could have a backside bounce in it tomorrow from like 2 to 290, but I typically prefer a bit more range of fade to where I think it could bounce to. Just because I'm never going to nail the bottom and nail the top. So if I'm looking for the meat of the move, I don't want to be looking for an 80-cent range and then trying to capture 40% or 40 cents of it or something. Like, it's just the margin for error is a bit too tight, where if this sort of faded to 160, close there tomorrow, now I can play off like this 140, 150 half dollar mark, and now I've got over $1 of range that I have a bit more room for error. And proc, I'm more leaning towards fading pops. The PR that had come out on it back here had a forward-looking catalyst in it for today, July 14th. I think it was a H.C. Wainwright presentation, I believe. I do know it was at 1:30 Eastern today. And I wasn't interested in shorting this name. After this, I had shorted this week close looking for a gap down, and it didn't, which means there was a lot of shorts thinking the same thing as me, and now they're underwater. And you can see the closing view app here, closing view app here, closing view app here. Shorts or longs aren't really underwater. It's all shorts that are underwater that would have like averaged up, trying to turn their loss into a winner. Longs just weren't underwater. It was consolidating above all those view apps. The volume weighted average price as like an average. So I just didn't see longs underwater. I didn't see bag holders that would have sold pops. So after this trade, I didn't want to short it the rest of the time. And then today we got that news come out, and you get a sell side move here from 4 down to 3. And now you've got 1, 2, 3 days of people underwater. So I'm thinking pops towards this 4-ish area could look for some failed fall through. But it's just been a bit too choppy of a fade here, where it's tried to bounce, tried to go green, it's closed green. So the bounce has just been, or the fade has just been too choppy to look for a bounce. I would more lean towards pops to fail versus looking left levels now that the catalyst is out of the way. Nailed BMNR on that halt trap install for long position. Also a quick long for Wolf, both first green day bounce. Unlike Friday, this time I took profits on Wolf. Nicely done. Yeah, BMNR, that one did. It broke low a day. I was trading with a few guys that were trying to long this. And once it broke here, this definitely stopped out a ton of people, and it instantly reclaimed view app. So congrats on that trade. If you watched Sunday Scan with Tim Grattani, I think it was ABVE that he talked about that setup. Yeah, it was right here. He talked about it with Chris on Sunday Scan, that he had traded this setup and he's seen it happening. So after our discussion on prior Watchlist about this setup, so you get that big move, consolidates, false breakdown, and instantly reclaim. He was buying it right in there after it failed to go lower. So it's definitely a setup that's working right now and worth keeping an eye out for. So congrats. Jeff's got to give peasants a spot for the top. That's why Jeff's the GOAT. That's right. It's because he's always first. That's why he always gets number 1. Happy late birthday. Thank you. No fill on ABVE. Came back in the afternoon. That was probably the right idea. First saw the trend change as Grattani mentioned in the halt trap. Nice. Very nice. I'm thinking I might... the guys at IU are doing the free broadcast tomorrow on Twitter and YouTube and wherever you guys want to watch it. I might hop on there. Typically I have like a different style and different watches, because a lot of the guys, the mods in there, they focus on a lot of day one moves and a lot of high liquidity, high volume moves. And it's like the in-play names. And I like to focus on recent in-play names that have traded volume recently and maybe are off people's radar. And they typically have, I find, to be easier and not such choppy like high-a-day breaks and low-a-day breaks that just wick you out. I find that they trend a bit easier. So I might hop on there and share some quiet ideas, depending how many of us are available in the morning, but we will see. I'll run through it here anyways. I've got so many tickers right now, and they're all just because we've had a bunch of recent small cap runners. I'm not looking to trade them all, but I'm just kind of keeping tabs on them. Something like VOR, for example, this little 240 breakdown didn't work. I didn't take it, but I was watching it. It didn't work, and it continues to top out on these lower highs. So this could be something that if it were to get a bit tighter of a range for risk-reward purposes, and then break through this lower high wedge, could be something that wants to go higher. Or one day when they turn on the dilution engines and they unload all their warrants, maybe this thing breaks to 20 one day and goes back to $1. I think either one of those are very possible, but I'm just kind of leaving it on a list and just keeping tabs on it each morning. Wolf, I'm kind of done with this one. It's got bankruptcy risk. I've tried to bounce it multiple times. I'm green on it, despite what the daily chart looks like, just because I've been proactive in locking into those bounces. But yeah, it's probably, I could probably just delete it at this point. Yeah, Workhorse, I briefly touched on that one, but this 250 key line doesn't look super key on the daily, but if you zoom in intraday, it was day 1 support, day 3 support, and now day 5 support. And if that gives way, I think we get down to $180, $2, something like that. So I'll keep that one on watch. Proc isn't really like a high conviction trade, so it's not something I'm going into tomorrow with a plan on. More just if this were to straight up spike into 410, pull back, double top, and break that lower high, I'd just short that lower high versus high day risk just because it's a tight risk reward, and a straight up spike into those levels I think should offer a short term pullback. But it's nothing I'm going to go into tomorrow and be like, oh, I need to trade this. SRFM, similar to Workhorse, we've got this big level here in the 620s. Acted as a base, a base, a base. It broke out here on Friday and gave the entire move back, so there's definitely some longs stuck through 750 and 8. So pops in there into that range I'd expect to get sold, and if this goes sub 620, then it's got this little pocket here down to 550. Game, I'd put this in the same basket as like VOR, or when you look at the intradaily, it's pulled back for multiple days, volume has kind of disappeared. If it breaks here, it could roll under. If it breaks this little wedge, gets back over 2s, could be something worth keeping on watch. Kind of like Viat did, where it went on its big frontside move, pulled back on lighter volume, and then it was picking its direction. Now it looks like it wants to retest looking left daily highs. I don't believe there's a ton of overhead. Yeah, it's pretty far away. So it could be a breakout candidate through that 350s on Viat, so I'd keep that one on watch. Shug P, same kind of thing. Recent runner, pulled back, no plan. ABVE, I don't really want to trade this tomorrow. If this bounces tomorrow, I likely miss it. Just look for it to fade into this channel where this volume profile is. 140s, 160s, and then maybe bounce it on Wednesday. I don't really want to watch this anymore. Didn't run enough on the front side. There's no real reason to watch that. SQNS, this is one of those multi-day runners that I am not interested in shorting. The volume continues to get lower, and the higher it goes, the daily candle continue to get smaller. So it's definitely not an ideal multi-day runner for a first red day. But I'm just keeping it on watch because it is a big percent gainer, and maybe something changes in the coming days. Who knows? SONN, if you recall this one from the watch list, I was waiting for that $6 break, and I show up this morning and it's at $30. Just absolutely insane. One of those that is kind of a month maker, possibly a year maker if you're selling this thing at 30, because the come on. Like the range that it trades, like on a high day break of like 460, they're risking 420. Or if this were to have broke high a day, 560, risking 520, you got like 40 cents a risk. So whatever you want to size into there, 40 cents a risk, call it 50 cents a risk, maybe, or 40 cents, whatever. If you want to risk $1,000, you can take like 2,500 shares. And with this thing gapping up to 30, 2,500 shares making $25. That's insane. What is that? 25 times 25 is 625, I think it is. So like 60 grand off of a 1K risk. So it definitely could be like a month maker on a gap like that. I've never caught one of these where you buy a breakout and they just put out PRs overnight. It's insane. Inkit had kind of a sector going with it because AGEN owns a portion of the company. This one here, AGEN was running before Inkit had got any attention. So this one would be more, I'd look for more fade. Again, it's down like 40% right now. So is it down enough that it could bounce? Yes. But it's not really that far off of prior consolidation levels that I think it could bounce back to. So I'd prefer if it would fade more towards like close like sub 30 and then maybe look for that bounce on Wednesday, but not super interested in playing it tomorrow. SQFT above 14 was it entry? I don't understand what you're saying. I don't know. I don't know what you're saying. FTFT, no need to watch that. Serve, I'm waiting for this thing. I would much prefer take this $10 breakdown. The 200 SMA is right here at like $10 if you throw it on your chart. It broke it briefly there on Friday, but quickly reclaimed it today. So far, still holding this lower high trend line, but I'd really like to join that $10 fade. Whole dollar and the 200 right at the same level. Nice confluence spot. So we'll see. It doesn't have to happen right away. It doesn't even have to happen, but prepared for it if it does. UAVS, a great example of not buying gaps over the breakout. I had put this one on watch on Twitter yesterday, looking for this 160 break here, looking left. It was right up near it there on Friday, and then we gapped up over it today. So I immediately took it off my watch list, and this is exactly why. Because more times than not, about 80% of the time, gap ups over their breakout levels fail, especially on small caps. This one's a China pump, should pull back one day. Kind of like if you saw EDHL today. This one was on a percent losers scan, minus 80%. So, could be it. There's a bunch of, if you scan for China stocks, you'll see a ton of them just walking up right now. They're insane. You had OST, you had PHH, you had EDHL. They're all doing them. So just be careful. IBG, percent gainer. With this kind of a day, that's kind of screws with the chart. There we go. It's got a little bit of overhead resistance right over here. So ideally, this runs up a bit closer to it before pulling back and then can get a secondary leg breaking out of 2 time frames. But no real immediate plan on that one tomorrow. Xena hit my multi-day runner scan. It's just not up enough. If it were to speed up, kind of like, was it BTCT? What was it? BTBT? Yeah, this one. Where this one hit my multi-day runner scan, but it wasn't up that 100% mark I like to see, and it didn't speed up. And then we started getting that gap to gap, blow off volume, and hit $4 from 2, so we started hitting that 100% area. So that's when it starts to get interesting. So Xena to me is kind of in this phase. So I'd like to see it start to do this the next few days for me to get interested. As of right now, I have no trade on it, but could have a trade. Viad I touched on. Open. This one here was getting pumped in some discords, and there was some guy on Twitter. What was his name? Eric something. Eric Jackson. Does anyone know him? I don't know. I hadn't heard of his name. I'll have to look up who he is. Eric Jackson. The Carvana hedge fund guy. All he does is try to find the next Carvana over and over again. Founder of EMJ Capital. Algorithm-driven equity strategies. So he's a hedge fund guy. So yeah, anyways, he put out some tweets about Open today, and it got some traction, and then he had some Discord starting to chase it as well. Only reason I have it on watch is because sometimes the retail crowd, if they can get on the back of one name, if you remember like CEI, you had I think Mullen had done it. You had what else? It was all in like the Zach Morris days when he would just pump one name to the next. Wish was another one. What else? There was a bunch. I can't remember them all off the top of my head. But it was like a basket. I think Workhorse was one of them. And it was all like these trash names that are going to end up right back where they came from. But there was so much just retail crowd. And I think we're still in that space with Bitcoin hitting highs that people are just putting money at work. So this is kind of like the way that this volume is. It looks like it could be one of those names, especially with guys with big followings in Discords and Twitter. That if this volume keeps up and this can run for multiple days, I'd love to short it. But I definitely need to see it extend. I've got absolutely no interest in it right now. It's just going to sit on a watch list and see if it gets to $2 or $3. And then TMC, I'd kind of throw in like Agent, I touched on briefly. But this one here has got like this long-term breakout here through 630s. And we broke through it, I think, with Inkit's help, but now it's holding up relative strength versus Inkit. This one's only down 5%, while Inkit's down like 40. And it's still holding up above its 630 level. So the longer that this holds up here and bases over 630, I could even possibly buy dips versus this 620s, 630s area and look for that 7+ break. And then something like TMC, this is a precious metals name that went on a nice multi-day run. If you throw your 20 moving average on your daily chart, it's surfing at these last few pullbacks, and this little 730 trigger I think could get the move started. So a 730 break I likely just buy and either risk towards 630, or if it's like a weak open that I can risk versus low a day. But if it gaps up 730 and breaks, I can't just risk like 10 cents. I have to give it some room to work. So in that case, I would risk 630 until a new risk level was set. But the big picture breakout's up there at 8. So TMC and agent or like those bigger picture swing ideas. And then in terms of watches tomorrow, it's probably like a workhorse breakdown, maybe a serve breakdown, ABVE if it were to gap down sub 2, I'd play that. SRFM could be a little breakdown. What else? Nvidia's at all-time highs, really? You must be talking like overnight trading. Let me look. Wow, 169 right now. 170? Wow. That's insane. This thing just doesn't stop. Wild. I kind of had like half an eye here on SBET as well. It was this big percent gainer, and it looks like MLGO is a bit more toxic dilutive wise. It looks like RGC, like over here, SBET's just putting in a bit more of a sustained run, but it can't get past all of this. So I was looking at it, like we're starting to get that gap to gap, but it's just not speeding up. Like I'd like to get like a big body candle, like something like DJT did, like over here. Like SBET, I'm kind of looking at it like here, where if it were to like go boom, 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 and like just blow out, I'd much prefer to trade something like that. But we also could be like here with SBET and then it chops and then slowly fades, and I just don't want to be a part of that. Oops, I clicked the wrong button. So, I don't know. I had it like kind of as like I saw it hitting scan because it was up for multiple days, but not super interested. Alrighty, I think that's all I really have. I do have a little scratch and win here. I had received on my birthday. It's a nice big one. I'm kind of hoping that I get like something big. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. The lucky number and my number. Money, 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 money. Money. I've got like this this ongoing joke with my older brother, because these scratch and wins, like if you have to get like 3 of the same or something, 3 of the same logo or something, or 3 of the same number, and it's like the max prize on this one's $1 million. And then you'll get like 2 millions, but then you'll never get the third one. And I always text or call him, and I'm like, oh man, I almost won $1 million. I was one away. Are you guys sweating with me right now? Is this as nerve-wracking for you as it is for me? Because, like, I really want to win. It's the gambler in me. I don't like losing, ever, at anything. I played a cornhole tournament on Saturday. They had it at the clubhouse at the golf course I was at. And I went undefeated because I don't like to lose. See, like this, for example, where you've got 41 as the lucky number, and I've got numbers all around it. I'm like, oh man, I almost won the $1 million. I was one number off. God damn it. Nothing. Guess I just gotta stick to trading. 'Cause I can't win these stupid things. God damn it. I even scratched it with a toonie, eh? God damn it. Your trading is explained as a scratch off. Oh, well that's unfortunate. I wish I won $1 million on a live stream. That would have been fun. I should get everyone that watches to send me a scratch ticket, and if I win, then we all split it. We win $1 million, we split it between the 15 people that are watching. And every live stream with a scratcher. Oh man. What, like $5 or $10 a day? Sorry it was anticlimactic. Tried my best. Alrighty guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Leighton is late, showed up right at the end. He was waiting to join. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there. Mostly quiet ideas into tomorrow, kind of B-grade setups. None of those multi-day runners or clean breakouts or anything that I typically like to trade. So we'll likely take it slow and just look for those quiet ideas to set up. But that's what I got. So take it easy, guys. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Have a great evening. Trade them all tomorrow, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.